Commencing on Radio Mirmire, Monday at 7 p.m. New weekly English language program, Global Eye.
Presenting current events from home and abroad, including background contributions and interviews. Our aim here at Radio Mirmire will be to provide information and opinion. I'm Peter Tobin, and I will be here Monday night, 7 p.m. Radio Mirmire, Global Eye. Welcome to Global Eye, your English language program here on Radio Mirmire. I'm Peter Tobin. Tonight on Global Eye, we'd like to welcome a member of the Politbureau of the Unified Communist Party of Nepal, Maoist, Indra Mohan Sigdal, known as Basanta. Basanta, thank you for coming tonight and answering questions for our listeners.
Thank you very much for inviting me in this program.
The first question I have is, up to January, it looked as if a split within the party was imminent. But a newfound spirit of unity came out of the Central Committee meeting on the 15th of January. What brought this about, and what was the programme that all the factions of the party united around?
For the last 3 years to now, our party is undergoing a serious two-line struggle. On that struggle, there are so many questions which are related with ideology, politics, and also strategy and also tactics. Yes, our two-line struggle was very much serious, and there were speculations that party might split at that time. But it is natural in a communist party. There is always two-line struggle, and sometimes it is in the high tide, and also sometimes it is in the low tide. That time it was in the high tide. But we were very much concerned about the future of revolution and also the future of the party unity and also the line of our party. That's why our line struggle was very much concentrated in the issues involved, and on that we categorized in two ways. The long-term important questions, the questions which have long-term importance, and some questions which has to be resolved right in the meantime. Right at this time. That's why we categorize in two ways, and we placed the questions which are having long-term importance as the questions of debate inside the party, which we will resolve later in some conferences or congress. But there were some immediate issues, whether we could unite on them, then we tried to sort out those problems, and ultimately we reached to a common consensus program. Then we were united at this time. That's why we have prepared a document which is a common consensual document based on which we will go ahead. And if there are issues in which we have differences, then we can also take this to the people as dissensions inside the party.
Would you say that the program then is a reviving of the spirit of the Politbureau plenum and the fusing of people's revolt with political activity in the parliament and government?
Yes, definitely. When we had discussed in Politbureau meeting, ultimately we reached to a conclusion that we will try to write a people's constitution which is anti-feudal and anti-imperialist. But in the case there is obstruction on the part of this status quo forces, then the people will go for insurrection and the party will lead it. It was the line that we adopted in Politbureau. In particular, in this Central Committee meeting also, the main theme of our agreement between the various factions is this. Then we will try to write a constitution which is anti-feudal and anti-imperialist in content. If there is obstruction, then people will go for insurrection and party will lead it.
In the short term, why are you calling for the resignation of Dr. Battarai's government and linked with that the call for a consensus government?
Yes, first of all, why we are asking Baburam Bhattarai's resignation is that the ways of forming this government is wrong, because the agreement which was reached between our party and the Maoist party at that time is based on wrong foundation, because there are some issues in which our party and Maoist party had agreed in that agreement. But they are not in the interest of our nation. They are anti-national, we can say, to some extent. That's why we oppose this base. And we want to develop a new base, create a new base, and form the government on the new basis. And the second point is that now we are in the process of writing a constitution, and in order to write constitution, the consensus is a must. Without consensus, there will be no constitution, because our party alone cannot write constitution, and other parties alone altogether also cannot write constitution, because we are 38% and they are 62%. That's why there should be consensus. In order to be a consensus constitution, there should be a consensus government. That's why we are asking for a consensus government. But it does not mean that we will agree on whatever the other parties say while writing constitution, because our bottom line will be anti-feudal and anti-imperialist. It should be in content. It must be. Otherwise, it will be a betrayal to the people.
Right, on the immediate issues before the Nepalese people at the moment, we've had, for the past week, we've had a parliamentary obstruction by the Nepali Congress and the UML over Dr. Bhattarai government's decision to legalise land transactions. Do you agree that this is bluster and this parliamentary infantilism, and that the government in fact was right to make the decision, that the party and the popular organisations are right to support it?
Yes, government was right, and it was a good, correct decision to legalise these land transactions when it was done in the People's War period. Because at that time, people could not go to district headquarters, and also the officials also could not go to the countryside because of this intense war time at that time. That's why local people, remote area peoples had to resolve these problems. That's why our party run this local power, solve this problem of land transactions, and so many other people, other questions also, other problems also. But now our government has legalized it, but there is obstruction from the other political parties, which we think is nonsense, because it is related to the problem faced by the people. Mm-hmm. It seems that they are not for resolving people's problems, but creating further problems to irritate the people.
Right. On the other issue that is the State Restructurings Committee report on the proposed federal system, alongside with the dissenting report from the minority on that commission. Would you like to comment?
Yes, our party's political line has been to have a federal system based on autonomy. Also, our line is to give the various nationalities a right to self-determination. This is our political line. Based on this, we want to restructure the whole state in various autonomous regions. For that, we have proposed 14 states before, but now on majority section they have proposed 11 states, which is very much close to what we have been saying. The other one is based on geography, which does not address the people's aspiration on this question. That's why the minority proposal will not address people's problems, but majority is closer to our demand.
Right, thank you, Basanta. Last week, a UML leader said that Comrade Boida was taking instructions from RIM. Would you like to comment on that statement, and would you perhaps explain the party's relationship with RIM?
First of all, RIM means Revolutionary Internationalist Movement. This is a movement. Previously, there was one committee which was formed of these revolutionary parties in the world, but now this committee is basically defunct. But there are parties are working in their own. There is movement. There is Revolutionary International Movement is there, but the committee itself is basically defunct. That's why it makes no sense to charge us in that way.
Thank you. And finally, on Composer, which the party was instrumental in helping set up, the Communist Party of India Maoist have been critical of the Nepalese party since the Comprehensive Peace Agreement. What are the relations now with our comrades in struggle in India and Composer?
Yeah, whenever there are some parties in an international organization, it does not mean that all of them have a same stand in every issues. That's why there can be differences. In our line, CPI Maoist may have differences. In their line, we also may have differences. And on this, we have comradely struggles, and we go on resolving the problem. This is the international method of resolving these issues. That's why they can have differences, no problem. We also can have differences, no problem. And the second thing is that previously, yes, Composa was there and it was working basically in an active way, but nowadays it is not that active like RIM. But ideologically and politically, as because we are both Maoists, we have ideological relation with them, but not that kind of working relation with each other.
Thank you, Basanta, for giving us your time and answering our questions so fully. That's all for tonight. So we'll be back here next Monday night on Global Eye. Hope you'll tune in. Thank you for listening this week. I'd like to thank the team that helped put this program together. Our senior technician Prabish, our technician Madan, the librarian Divakar, our producer Prajawal, and our political advisor Pushpa.